have Jurijs Spiridonovs, current issues in construction industry in Latvia.
If the previous speaker was saying that she's running out of time, now we have overstepped your constitutional rights as to the coffee break, and I will break your rights even more, and I am going to speak in English for the sake of speed.
I will start with the words of a French singer, Mylène Farmer. She told once, I'm not doing that in French, but just in English, she told that in this world there are many people, a lot of people, who feel uncomfortable living in such a world, and she's singing these songs for those people. In Latvian construction sector, there are numerous people who are unsatisfied with the construction legislation. So my presentation is for you. We'll start with the market. The overall amount of funding coming from EU funds into different sectors which are concerning construction works is more than 3 billion euro for 7 years. So that's why maybe we're having such intense fights over the regulation and legislation, because we have a lot of money to spend, and definitely that creates tensions on the market. The market players, they are different and they are interesting. We have more than 5,000 active entities doing some business in construction, but 800, which used to be active, just lost their licenses the last year. So we have a sector when the number of participants may change for 10–15% annually. On the other hand, only 170 or less than 3% actually participated in any works abroad. So this is us. When it comes to the overall economy, it's wise to remember that people working in the industry, both in number of companies and number of employees, is approximately between 7.5 and 8% of either all the entities operating in different sectors of businesses or in the employees. So basically we are talking about something which brings at least 8% of active workforce to daily duties. However, I must say that not all these people spend all this day doing the things in the construction sector, or at least they're not paying the taxes for the full day. The next interesting piece of information is just information about how big are the companies. And when we talk about the different companies and their abilities to perform different construction works, we have to remember one very important fact, that out of these 5,000 entities, 47% actually do perform works which could be valued less than 50,000 euro annually. That means that to a certain extent we are talking about quite small number of companies doing the main works. And please remember the basic fact, we are still trying to spend 3.5 billion euro, and if we would be doing that by the company which actual turnover is 50,000, we will have a problem. Next one, we see that the number of companies doing businesses abroad is not growing. However, the amount of works is growing. So we are nice people abroad and we can work, and it's treasured and valued abroad. And I guess it's a high time for all of us to understand that we are not silly and stupid people. We can trade our brains, our intelligence abroad. And that's proved by the facts that the companies which started the operations become more and more successful. That's why yesterday we launched for the public discussion the system for classification of the construction companies in Latvia. And this system includes many different criteria, but they can be grouped in a broader manner in at least 3 groups. First of all, professional performance. The second is a set of criteria related to economic performance and financial performance, and also sustainability, which includes to a certain extent reputation. This document would bring us to the point when we have a clear picture of our companies, setting the companies in the right order when it comes to their professional performance and ability to perform different works. The market players have different choices, and that's so typical, that's so human, that we are doing different choices in our everyday life. So the same applies to the participant on the market. We see that our companies are taxpayers, but they do it in a different way. We have 5,000 entities paying the tax as a micro-tax, so decreased amount of tax. On the other hand, and this number of companies which actually are performing the construction services is even higher than the number of active participants of construction market. So we have more than 25,000 of companies which in their works did something related to construction. But once again, they did it for a very low scale in certain cases. It is evaluated that in Latvia, the grey economy share in the construction sector is more than 40%. Like shown before, we have a systematic problem with tax paying. We see that through micro-taxes, at least some persons try to pay taxes. And that's why the Ministry of Economy always was supportive of continuing the regime. Because if we want to overcome the 40% gap, we have to be quite clear that it's not possible to do it in a manner like it was proposed during the consultations on annual budget. On the other things, standards, you know that we are applying Eurocode standards for construction works here in Latvia in many respects. Not for everything, because not everything is translated, not everything is approved, but already for many activities we do apply Eurocodes. But what we can see from statistics of our standard organization, how many companies are actually buying the standards to read them. We see that basically through many years we have to apply the Eurocodes, but the amount of sold Eurocodes or Eurocodes which have been paid for is something like 16 or 10. So how can it be that out of 5,000 companies, only 16 are actually paying for Eurocodes? So how do they work, and what do they actually doing in their technical drawing, in their all the other performances? And that's the behavior of the market participant. We'll launch the campaign to check the demand. Now it's for free, for a limited period of time. It cannot be free forever, because someone is paying for the standards. Someone is paying for the producing of this work. It's not like a free good and you can just get it everywhere on the street. It's a product of industries cooperating together, involves a lot of money, and so it's not a free good. But now it's for free. And what we see, we have more than 700 70 accesses already granted to the free reading. We have more than 8,000 of Eurocodes read through this period, very short period, some weeks. So basically, the choice of the market participant is not to pay for Eurocode, but the nice thing about our market and our construction companies, at least they are interested in getting more information what it's all about. Technologies, exactly like in Lithuania, we are working on construction system. Construction system, which in Latvia has abbreviation BIS, or Būvniecības informācijas system, or Construction Information System in English, would include many services. We are at the launching point, so basically the system is operational already in many aspects. It will have mistakes, it will have some low points, it will have necessity to be changed, but we have a system in place and we are starting to apply it. We launched it during this year both for municipalities and also for authorities responsible for providing certificates for employees. And we have more than 50 agreements already signed with our municipalities out of 80. However, according to the rules of the project, we only had to do 30. When we look at the number of users, we have more than 4,000, almost 5,000 users which are authorized in using the data on the construction system. And we have more than 100,000 unique users actually checking the information online monthly. We see it through the activities of our partners in organizations which are responsible for certification process. We see that a lot of information is already there, published on individual companies and individual persons responsible to a certain extent for the quality of construction process in this country. And we see that a lot of information is still missing. For example, for certain certification institutions, we can get only information about 3% of their members about their vocational training, which is one of the key elements for prolonging their certificates. And the final question, since I am in francophone mood for today, I would go to Paul Verlaine and his poem on seashells. There are many questions, but the one among them troubles me. The question which I would like to ask you and myself, which I have no answer for, is this one. When it comes to case in Maxima in Zolitude, we have to decide quite precisely for not only for our country but also for Baltic region, and really thank you mentioning that you take the experience in Estonia as well, because I guess we don't want to learn by our mistakes in such circumstances. Do we create overprotective legislation or not? Where is the responsibility of the market participants and where is the responsibility of the legislation? And that's the question I would like to stop with. That's the basic problem we now have on many occasions in Latvia discussing the new legislation. Do we have to create all the necessary information, the path of development within the legislation, or we have to leave some room for the market to be professional itself without our help? And that's the question I'm really stopping at. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jurijs Spiridonovs. Ministry of Economics, and because I believe you are one of the personalities with the highest gravity today in the conference, because the state representative, logically, do we have a question, the quick, of course, taking into account the coffee, need for coffee in the blood system. Do we have questions here? You are more desperate about coffee than about Yuri. Yes. Okay, we have one. Sabotage, yes. Please, yes, raise your hand one more time. And it's going to happen, yeah.
Valmieras pašvaldība, Armands Mēņš.
I'm from Valmiera municipality. The access to this code, what will happen after those 3 months? Will they be free of charge, or will we have to pay for them? When you ask this question as to continuity of usage of standards. Unfortunately, your municipality has not asked for access to the code. Now the question is, the municipality should probably have free access to those codes. Mr. Spiridonovs says that these standards should be used by everyone, and the municipality is no different from a legal entity, a player, because in those documents the money has been put into is from the industry. This is a product of private entities who have worked this out. What I wanted to add is, with this free access, we just wanted to understand the demand of the usage or access to the Eurocode. Of course, we can think about different pricing for different groups. But we cannot allow free access to all the Eurocodes, because if you wanted that, you would have to pay thousands of euros. So that's why we thought we should probably get out the baseline, or the main basic standards, or a group of standards, and then allow free access or access for lower price for municipalities. But first of all, by this free access, we wanted just to understand what is the demand as to the standards, which standards are regarded most often, and which are in highest demand.